Jaime has always loved running, and after taking some time off to have kids, she was excited to lace up her shoes again and hit the road. Now, like many runners, she eased back in with short jogs. But after just a few weeks, she noticed an ache in the front of her knee. Now, she figured she was just out of practice. You know, like maybe she pushed her pace a little bit too hard or too quickly that day. So she let herself rest, and when the ache went away, she tried running again. But this time, the pain came back faster and sharper, and it made her stop mid-run. Now, after x-rays and an exam, the doctor told her nothing is wrong with your knee. But her knee begged to differ. Every time she walked now, her knee hurt. So what did Jaime do? Jaime tried exercises she found online. Things like squats, lunges, and a variety of other stretches that are supposed to help runners and to improve leg strength. And some of them did help for the short time. But others, they just seemed to make everything worse. So poor Jaime was stuck between wanting to run and being afraid of making her knee pain worse than it already was. Does that sound familiar? Like many runners, Jaime developed runner's knee. And so let's talk about what runner's knee actually is. The technical term is patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is actually one of the most common causes of knee pain in active adults. And despite its common name of runner's knee, it doesn't only affect runners. It can show up in anyone who walks, squats, climbs stairs, or even sits for too long. With runner's knee, you'll typically feel pain around or behind your kneecap. And it often shows up in activities like running and squatting or climbing stairs. So many people will start off noticing a dull ache that gradually worsens the longer they stay active. And then others will describe a clicking, grinding, or popping noises in their knee. And in many cases, the discomfort doesn't stop right after the exercise. It lingers even after the activity is over. And one of the earliest signs can also be pain after sitting for longer than 30 minutes, since that prolonged bent knee position puts extra strain on that knee joint. All right, so let's break down the anatomy in order to help you understand what's actually going on in your body. Your kneecap, also known as your patella, is a train riding on a track. Its track is on your femur, also known as your thigh, and for that smooth, pain-free knee movement, the train has to glide perfectly in line on its track. But here's what happens with runner's knee. Your hip or your quad or your glute muscles aren't balanced with each other, or maybe your form has changed, possibly from time off, like Jaime's did after having kids. Now, with those imbalances, your patella will start to drift out of a line. So it starts to come off. And when that happens, it creates friction, irritation, and eventually pain. Now, this might surprise you, but you can have perfectly normal x-rays and still feel miserable. That happens when the problem isn't the knee joint, or said differently, it's not the bones causing the pain. Instead, it's how the movement patterns or the muscles around your knee joint are working, or honestly, not working. And this is where a cookie cutter approach of just rest and stretch falls short, or at least it wasn't enough for Jaime. So when I work with a runner like Jaime, I don't just look at the knee in isolation. I take a step back and I look at the bigger picture. So let me break down what I mean by the bigger picture. So first, I look at hip and core strength. Your glutes don't just extend your hips, they also help you rotate those legs outward. And when they're not firing properly, the knee can collapse inward with each stride. That inward rotation strains your knee joint and sets you up for pain. Okay, so second, I look at running mechanics, because even small changes in a stride or a cadence or your footwear can completely alter how the knee is being loaded. So for instance, if your foot tends to be overly flexible, your knee might turn in slightly with every step. That mild rotation piles up small irritations over time, and then suddenly you're left with a big problem. So third, flexibility and mobility. Tight quads or an IT band can tug that kneecap out of alignment, coupled with the extra pressure from tight muscles compressing the bones together, can wear down that joint over time, and that leads to dysfunction and pain also. So fourth, your training load. And this is a big one. Runners often get hurt when they ramp up their running duration or their running speed too quickly, or when they try to progress those two variables at the same time. For example, if your goal is to run a 5K in 30 minutes, the first step is simply to walk for the 30 minutes. And once that feels easy, then you can safely increase your speed for that 30 minutes. But trying to increase both the speed and the duration at the same time, that's practically like sending your knee, and maybe even your back, an engraved invitation to an injury party. But speaking of back pain, if you're struggling with that from running, I've got another video where I share Sarah's story. And she was told, just stop running at 40. But she proved everybody wrong. So check out that video if it sounds familiar. Okay, now, after looking at these 4 areas, I create a customized plan to get you back in balance and fix what's not working and help you run again without getting sidelined by injuries. With the right guidance, Jaime learned which exercises actually helped her knee instead of irritating it. We also worked on her hip and her core strength, and we tweaked her running form, and we slowly built her strength back up. Now, today, Jaime is running again without that nagging knee pain holding her back. So, if you've been sidelined by knee pain and you're tired of hearing people tell you, just rest it, or there's nothing wrong with your knee, the scans are normal, it's time to dig deeper. Knee pain does not have to end your running story. It's simply a chapter that you can still rewrite. You don't have to guess your way through this either. And quite honestly, Googling your symptoms is just going to stress you out. So if you're ready to get back to running without pain, check out the comments below for a link to my clinic in Cypress, Texas. I'd love to help you figure out what's really going on with your knee and get you back to the activities you love.